I'm so close to tear and so close to simply calling you up. I'm simply suggesting we go to that hidden place. That we go to that hidden place. We go to that hidden place. We go to a hidden place. I have been slightly shy, and I can smell a pinch of hope to almost have allowed one's fingers to stroke the fingers I was given to touch with. But careful, careful. There lies my passion hidden. There lies my love. I'll hide it under a blanket. Lull it to sleep. I'll keep it in a hidden place. I'll keep it in a hidden place. Keep it in a hidden place. In a hidden place.
Hello again, future friends, family and strangers. This is the second video made in the style of an autobiography, documentary and a game storytelling and design combined. These are made when I find a game predominantly art focused and will usually be a much more niche game. There are 5 chapters to this video based on the 5 tenets, which are something held closely to me. Before addressing the chapter title, I'll provide context of the visuals for this video. Gris and Neva are 2D platformers with light story and heavy emphasis on artistic direction and story, visually and audibly. We lose our ability to sing in Gris, and our companion crumbled before we are lost in a dull world. The 5 tenets originate from Taekwondo, being titled the 5 tenets of Taekwondo. I started Taekwondo at a young age and became a black belt at the age of 12. I won a British silver medal as the only accolade of my young career and soon quit in my teenage years. I then went to live a life that reflected the opposite of the 5 tenets, to which I then came to rediscover and relearn. For most, it is a natural act to be courteous. It's a normal trait found amongst people. But when it comes to the internet, the act is scarce. It is very easy to find hatred and evil on the internet and online. People hide behind a keyboard and feel comfortable saying heinous words with no sympathy. I have also said some harsh and evil things, and I'm writing to reflect on such things said, to explore what I want to change and be. It's difficult, near impossible, to change the internet's culture, but it's easiest to start by being the change you desire to see. My solution is definitely stepping away from the computer and social media and online presence. I think some games and communities are fine. My opinion is that online mainstream areas harbour the most hatred, and that you will find overall better people in niche communities. I believe that the people watching this are inherently good people, It is the fate to attract what you are, and a culmination of my efforts can confidently be seen in the people that I interact with. I am having more difficulty writing a script this time, as there's no strong story to attach myself to. I have 5 acts to speak about, but I think I'll just speak about whatever comes to mind. The consistency doesn't have to be present, as well, I can do and make what I want. I'd started a project of learning to draw every day that fell quickly through. I wanted to expand my artistic and creative abilities in every branch and sector possible, and I'm glad that I got to start it, though, as I sat on the idea for a few months. It's also a nudge to just say, if you have something you want to do, just start it. Be courteous to yourself, and don't hold back your potential. In Gris, the game you're seeing now, my favourite parts are the strength of colour and outlining, the outlining in particular. It gives Gris its own style and it's visually pleasing. The music complements the segments very well, but the art is the strongest standoff piece. I also really enjoy the mechanics of the game. It's a simple platform and puzzle game with intricate cool designs. The game has little fault, one being the story definitely could be strengthened. There are key moments where we reach a new colour and transform the world of Gris. We don't gain any ability or achievement. It seems to be left to interpretation. If we are regaining our lost selves, or shifting through emotion depicted by colour, it could also just be the progression of the game. There are achievements though for this game that don't work. Going through the 5 stages of acceptance, and then the 4 colours of the achievements. About the music, I had initially planned to make an intro to the entire song Hidden Place, and then to do another edit to another song called Pagan Poetry. There wasn't enough for these to be made, as I didn't want to heavily reuse media already in the edit, but the music Hidden Place by Bjork was such a perfect song for this. I consider it my magnum opus, the best edit or creation I've done to date, and really connected with the style, attempting to focus on the avant-garde genre and make it as unique and intriguing to watch. I'm thinking of branching my music eventually. I currently create digital instrumental music, but definitely want to expand my ability. I'm still not too sure what the genre would be, but it would definitely contain vocals. I've had weak experience with integrity in my youth. Cowardice moments, lacking integrity that I can only do now because I've had the regret and experience of not doing so before. I think this trait is built through experience and is harder for people to achieve than being courteous. It is difficult to achieve per circumstance. Some scenarios endanger your health and life. Most often though, there are just scenarios frequently happening that can be spoken against. Tying back to chapter 1 about the online communities, in gaming there is strong racism and sexism that are all under the pretense of jokes or ignorance. It's right to say that it's just not a correct place a community should be in, and where it's so comfortable and enabled. Once again, this is a very difficult to change mass opinion, but to start, you must be the change you want to see. I have said my pieces of racism under the pretense of a joke, and often do find myself reflecting on if it's worth it. I'm a 20-year-old black male surrounded by white boys saying nigger in games. I think this ties back to my own integrity, and that I have to just not be so easily swept with the tide, and not partake in such acts. Now, I'm no saint, but people watching have seen the jokes said on this channel, and some of them are funny. I don't mind witty and creative jokes that involve a certain subject. My issue lies in 2 areas: the cheap, recycled jokes that do nothing but spur this wave on, and the racism and sexism from strangers to other strangers. It's okay if you and your close friends say some insensitive, ignorant shit sometimes. And despite some hypocrisy, there just needs to be more people who will grow and stand by their principles. On Season 2 Stories to the Future, I spoke briefly about the game's core message and journey and my reflection on that, specifically regarding history, legacy and memory. I'm still not really sure what I want these videos to be. It's morphing into a place to look back on and just see how much I've changed. I have a book and other physical media of baby photos of my youth, but from 16 onwards it didn't continue. It just seems to have merged into digital media, uploaded for all to see. So we are 23 minutes into this video and only on chapter 2 with a whole other game to add to this. So I'm just going to start putting people on and speaking about some likes, dislikes, media, artists and art. I have a very good relationship with my dad and he's put me onto a lot of music that only older people listen to and maybe lost to the times. I don't hear this music anywhere else, but some names will be recognisable. Beanie Man, Luther Vandross, Teddy Pendergrass, Grover Washington, Bill Withers, Marvin Gaye, and Lauryn Hill. All great black artists, so if you're into soul, Motown, R&B, check them out. To summarise my main genres, they are electronic, classical, indie, international, soul and hip-hop. On music, I don't like people who say they listen to everything, and people who just summarise and can't speak their thoughts. Also people who say, I don't know, and stuff, and things. I just think it shows a lack of intelligence to not be able to structure your thoughts and feelings vocally. On some games, I despise shooters, yet on the contrary, I play them the most. My style is more retro and story games, niche games and art games. I grew up on some random Nintendo DS games, the Dreamcast and the Wii, all amazing consoles. Pokemon was huge for me, and probably fleshed out a lot of my character from early. Like, you know, every school has that weird kid. That kid that doesn't even know that they're that label. Reflecting back, I was for sure that kid, but luckily only for primary school. I don't class it as a typical weird kid, but I was just much more expressive than everyone else, which naturally isolated me. I wrote an entire school play in year 4 and handed it to a racist teacher. I did drama and stagecoach and performed at venues, doing Addams Family and some others. As I grew naturally, I just couldn't perceive that from someone else's perspective, they can't replicate what I do with ease. I've come to know and meet a lot of people and just found out I really have an innate talent of creativity and acting. I've described these videos as autobiographies and documentaries. They really aren't at the stature of those, but more of a soliloquy in digital form. On the contrary to that, if you ever thought I was just speaking my thoughts out loud, this is what it really looks like. 10,000 plus characters of script writing for this and season. I find the exercise refreshing and new. I've not written for years, and it's another form of creativity and brain training to explore. Shout out brain training. Additionally, I implore whoever is watching to start reading more, or read some of the recommendations I'm going to go on to. Reading is such a good way to broaden one's knowledge and vocabulary. It's helped me learn a lot of words that I would have never known, and it makes future reads much more interesting. For some book recommendations, I'll start with The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. My dad gifted me this book when I was young for the sake of education and morals, and the book contains multiple stories with wisdom, intellect and morals that all are very interesting. The book is very large though and isn't a light read. The next book is Aesop's Fables. This is a personal favourite of mine which will stay with me for a very long time. I grew up on these stories and I think a lot of the stories are no longer heard. You have the classic and famous ones such as The Tortoise and the Hare, The Boy Who Cried Wolf and others. A few personal favourites in there are Mercury and the Woodman, The Town Mouse and the Country Mouse, and The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. All good stories I will pass down to my future children. I'll do one more book and choose a more modern and alternative style, which is the Berserk series. I have the entire collection, and the story is really well thought out. Unfortunately, the author Kentaro Miura passed away, and the books are unfinished and are being picked up by his remaining team. The ending will be one of hope and good fortune, because I think if the protagonist was to experience hardship and suffering till the end, it would ruin all the good writing it has had throughout so far. The final book I'll also add is One Piece. Best fiction to be written, little more needs to be said. The third section of Gris is a tied favourite with the final part. The technique and the deep blue hue gives the level an enjoyable experience. In the end of Gris, the merged purple and tertiary of yellow and red really makes a good level. The next thing to speak about is AI. And I think integrity can even tie back to this, because I'm really disappointed with the amount of people who like and rely on AI, using it for everything, for education and to just query. Generative AI disgusts me, and this seems to be so normally accepted. I see a lot of people affected by this, specifically artists, voice actors, creators and innovators. I myself am a developer and I work in IT, specifically Microsoft, so Copilot, which is their own in-house AI for Microsoft product, is often spoke about and offered. I think it's important to be educated on AI before mindlessly relying on it or endlessly hating. Generative AI is an immediate no, it causes harm to the environment. I'm fine with upscaling AI and AI code generation. Currently I use AI for HTML, CSS and JavaScript code generation, and I'm on the fence for the future of code generative AI and the impact it will have on programmers. It's something to come back to after learning more. Discipline and perseverance, something required by all. It's necessary for mind, body and outwardly action you take. Without discipline you can get swept in and maintain bad habits and live in comfort. Now, the idea of living in comfort sounds nice, but it's essential to balance. You must persevere to gain control over yourself and take future action. Routine definitely helps myself with persevering, starting with sports, to work, to the gym, to deadlines and to creating my own art. I do find it hard to maintain all year round, all the time, but steps and progress are essential. It's nigh impossible to change overnight and start achieving. You just won't be accustomed to such change, and then on the other side of that you have the initial step. Starting is just as difficult. When planning you can lead to overthinking and nerves can be at play. Starting without any prep may leave you flustered and underwhelmed to not expecting what you experience. Maintaining and balancing your discipline is a hard feat to achieve, but it will stack up and become much more difficult the longer it is left. People don't change and reside doing what they know because it's comfortable, and they lose that opportunity. Tying it back to Taekwondo, the main acts of perseverance there were learning 15 different patterns with a 20 plus moveset, and then waking up at 4 in the morning to drive to London for a competition. Many thanks to my father for that hardship, because I could not do that now, no. Only the strength of my child self could achieve that. I only mentioned perseverance in 3 forms, of mind, body and outward the action, but this is not all there is to it. There is care with your partner, maintaining dignity and appearance, rehabilitation, and just waking up to the start of the day. They all technically branch from the original 3 that I mentioned, but to widen one's thoughts and make it more applicable, it is just a part of daily life and something to master. I already have an idea for the next video concept that follows this pattern. It's a genre I've recently gotten into. It's these fast-paced adrenaline reaction games often found with a unique style. I plan to play 3 that are named Ultrakill, Gorecore and Tamashika. It's a very interesting genre and they make use of really good mechanics. 2 of these games aren't even out yet, so it's on hold for a while. If you didn't know already, I'm planning to stop this channel at the end of 2025 with the final summary and compilation, the best of 2025. It's been really enjoyable, of course, to work on this for almost 5 years and have the best memories kept of you for the future, but I just don't envision myself continuing this for a few reasons. 1. I think it will be too overbearing. Too many videos, the videos won't be as refined and at a good quality. 2. My poor storage. 2 terabytes being allocated for clips already, and this project I normally have 500 gigs to a terabyte of footage at all times. Three, the time spent. I've gotten much faster at editing whilst maintaining quality, where I normally spend double of the video's length on the editing process. Tying all of these points together, I've uploaded a video every 2 days since the start of the new year, and we are at March. It's a lot of content, and it's instilled itself into my memory and the people I've shared it with. There's just little reason to continue, and it's time to explore new projects. I think I'll still create videos of the style, given the more time I'll have to go down the route of storytelling. I'll expand on my music so I can utilise it when pursuing a keen interest of mine, which is film production. I want to develop in direct film as a profession or a hobby later on. It's extremely interesting, and I'm planning to start filming myself in skits or short films rather than just games and existing media. Back to putting people on, because I'm struggling to do a 50,000 character script. Use of Days, a Black London drummer. He makes really good jazz, and I recommend listening to his album Black Classical Music and the video I'm showing on screen. Next up are Machine Girl. I recently got some merchandise from them that took 8 months to arrive. They are an electronic band, and they make breakcore, DnB, you name it. If they aren't conformed to one genre, I recommend anything they have. Pick a title that you're drawn to. Next is Ichiko Aoba, a Japanese singer with a great discography. I recommend Dawn in the Aden and Grandois, who features our next artist, Pom, French singer who also had a hit song on Arcane, a great show with not enough time. I could really go on and on about artists, so we'll end this It's just that it's come to the realization, the difficulty to write the entire narration to this over hour-long video. I had Season's story to greatly help and take the lead with my input added over that. I've been writing the script for over 10 days and usually wait for inspiration so I can start writing. Although the game hasn't ended and Neva hasn't even started, I want to rank these at some point in the video. Gris definitely feels more like a whole art piece, not a game and not a story. It's definitely not story focused, and I definitely appreciate that much more than what Neva tries to be. Gris is a simple 10 for me. It's not a lengthy game, and it hits the right areas visually and audibly. It's a laid back platformer focused on the visuals and the art. I'll speak more of Neva, I guess, when we get to the game. Regarding the ending of this channel, each year in the Best of compilation, it would have an introduction, and every time I struggled to think how I would do better than last year. As you see, they all get completed, and to a good standard. It's just that now they're becoming very repetitive. The reason behind learning to edit and start all of these areas was so I could satisfy my brain and creation. Unfortunately, I'm nowhere close and don't have the skill to create what I envision. Upon hearing a song for the first time or seeing a sequence, I can adapt and form it into a short film, story, music video, an edition and more. My imagination is definitely my strongest part of my character, but I haven't lived up to it yet, as I fail to create anything close to what my mind can create. To be able to do so, I need the skills of producing music, drawing well enough to form it into animation, directory skills, camera knowledge. I don't think I'll ever get to what I envision, but once I continue learning these skills and new ideas appear, I'll be able to execute them better to represent the original concept. I'm not planning to attend film school or online education. I've been self-taught for years now, and it's much more efficient. When it comes to this, I'll have to have some practical practice and work on set, gigs, etc. It definitely amplifies discipline, as I can only hold myself accountable when I'm the one teaching myself. Gris is now in its final stages and is coming to a close. The story isn't much to ponder over, but it's a great dynamic and view. The final area utilizes components from each previous area and has some beautiful color meshes. This concludes chapter 3, and we will start once again with Neva.
me.